Oh my god, it's gonna be a fantasy filled month. Ooh, fun map. Hold on. Like, I'm not that big on love triangles when it's not fantasy. Um, but we shall see. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, welcome. My name is Anvita. I love to read, I love to talk about books, I love to post about books, and yeah. So sometime last year, I ended up making a TBR jar. I made it sometime in the second half of last year, and then I used it like twice and read the books that it gave me, which were Ninth House and Ariadne, and I enjoyed both of those. Ninth House I enjoyed much more than I did Ariadne, but like basically just a book jar with books that I own that I haven't read. And if you've seen my other videos, then you know that currently I have over 100 books in my physical TBR that I would like to reduce to a 2-digit number or even less. So last night I went through all the chits and found all the ones that I had read already that were still on this, because I haven't used this in almost a year now. So yeah, I found those and I changed it to books that I have acquired since then. And so now this jar is like up to date basically with all the books. It doesn't have all the books that I own right now, just because some of them I do want to read while listening to the audiobook and stuff. So like I'm gonna have to wait. I can only read those books once my library hold for the audiobook comes through on Libby. So besides those books, this has all the books that are on my shelves basically. And so I thought for July, I'm gonna pick out 12 books from this list and I'm gonna try and read all of them. Obviously, I won't be able to read all of them because I am still a mood reader to an extent. So I will probably end up picking other books up, or like deciding not to read them, the ones I pick, just because I'm not in the mood for them, or like it's not the right time for it. So yeah, but I'm gonna pick out 12 books right now and hope that I get to most of them or some of them in July. So let's find out which books I'm gonna read in July. Okay, first book, I'm gonna try and pick something from the bottom. Okay, first book for July TBR is The Retreat. Okay, so this was a book that was sent to me by the publishers. The Retreat by Zara Rahim. I think, yeah, HarperCollins sent this to me. I'm not sure completely what it's about. I haven't read it. I haven't read the back either, but it's giving somewhat Eat, Pray, Love vibes in a way. Anyways, Nadia Abbasi's marriage is falling apart. It starts with a gifted Roomba, but when she stumbles upon some questionable photos in her husband Aman's office, everything makes sense. The late night texting, the sudden interest in fitness, the new clothes. Aman, the kind, thoughtful man she married, is having an affair. Determined to find out what went wrong in her marriage, Nadia enlists the help of Zeba, the estranged sister she hasn't seen or spoken to since their mom's funeral over a year ago. As the two sisters fight to reconcile their past, Nadia realizes her relationship with Aman is not the only one that needs mending. Nevertheless, the plan itself is simple: confront the other women and win back her husband. Her clumsy attempt at sleuthing leads her from a yoga studio, Aman's latest hangout, to a 3-day wellness retreat in the foothills of the Santa Monica Mountains. But somewhere in between falling out of tree pose and choking down plant-based meals, Nadia's plans unravel again when she discovers more than she expected about herself, her husband, and the nature of love. So, not Eat, Pray, Love vibes. I don't know why I thought Eat, Pray, Love vibes. I thought I saw Affair and I was like, okay, so she gets a divorce and then she like goes on a soul-searching retreat or whatever. But yeah, sounds fun, sounds interesting. We have a marriage crisis. We have siblings, sisters, relationship stuff. It's set in Santa Monica. Yeah, sounds fun. I'm excited to read it. Okay, so book 2 from my TBR jar. Let's pick a different color. This one was blue, so I'm gonna do a pink this time. Okay, another R word. Rebecca. Okay, this one I have heard a lot about. It's a classic. I got this because of the cover and because I just like how it looked, which basically means the same thing. What am I saying? Anyways, I don't know much about it. I just know that it's apparently a good classic and everybody talks about it. And I've been trying and failing to read classics, get more into classics, just because in 2021 I read one that I really loved. It's called Ruby Fruit Jungle by Rita Mae Brown, and I loved it so much that I was like, okay, I need to give more classics a try. And because the only reason I read it was because it was assigned in one of my classes in college. So yeah, I'm hoping to read more classics, and haven't been reading more classics, but I have literally bought some. I still haven't read Pride and Prejudice. I have it. I have Rebecca. I have yeah, I have some more. But yeah, now that I've picked it for July, hopefully I will finally read it. But yeah, okay. Working as a paid companion to a bitter elderly lady, the timid heroine of Rebecca learns her place. Life is bleak until, on a trip to the south of France, she falls in love with Maxime de Winter, a handsome widower whose proposal takes her by surprise. Whisked from Monte Carlo to Manderley, Maxime's isolated Cornish estate, the friendless young bride begins to realize that she barely knows her husband at all. And in every corner of every room is the phantom of his beautiful first wife, Rebecca. Okay. Rebecca is the haunting story of a woman consumed by love and the struggle to find her identity. Sounds like some mysterious things will happen. Yeah, suspenseful, dead woman, something, Yeah. And it's told as like the main character isn't Rebecca. Like Rebecca is the first wife. She's not even in it. I mean, we don't know. But yeah. Sounds interesting. Sounds fun. Okay. Excited to read this. Hopefully in July. Yeah. Okay. Next, I'm gonna pick a yellow one. Just because the last one was pink. The Final Empire. Am I finally starting this big ass trilogy? We shall see. Okay. Final Empire by Brandon Sanderson. My first Sanderson book. Yeah. I don't know much about it, but I've heard everyone talk about it. High fantasy, I don't know what to expect, but it is going to be my first Sanderson, and I've heard good things about his books. So I'm excited. But the first book is this thick. The second one, which I also have, is like thicker than this. And then I don't have the third one, but I assume it'll be even more. This is already 650 pages. That's insane. I will try to get to this month. I have been in kind of like a fantasy or fantasy or mystery kind of mood, so could be the one. Anyways, the mists rule the night, the Lord Ruler owns the world. For 1,000 years the ash fell. For 1,000 years the scar slaved in misery and lived in fear. For 1,000 years the scar slaved in misery and lived in fear. For 1,000 years the Lord Ruler reigned with absolute power and ultimate terror, divinely invincible. Every attempted revolt has failed miserably. Yet somehow hope survives. A new kind of uprising is being planned, one that depends on the cunning of a brilliant criminal mastermind and the courage of an unlikely heroine, a scar street urchin who must learn to master allomancy, the power of a mistborn. What if the prophesied hero had failed to defeat the Dark Lord? The answer will be found in the Mistborn trilogy, a saga of surprises that begins here. Interesting. Yeah, it is a thick one, but maybe I will finally read it. I've had this for over a year now, so we shall see. But yeah, third book in my TBR jar, besides my TBR. Okay, fourth pick. Let's do a dark blue this time. Another fantasy-esque book, The Adventures of Amina al-Sirafi. Should be interesting. I think it's like YA / middle grade. The cover is stunning. Shannon Chakraborty. Yeah, stunning. Princes, pirates, I think. Something in the sea. Yeah, okay. Let's read the back. Yeah. A pirate of infamy and one of the most storied and scandalous captains to ever sail the seven seas. Amina al-Sirafi has survived backstabbing rogues, vengeful merchant princes, several husbands, and one actual demon to retire peacefully with her family to a life of piety, motherhood, and absolutely nothing that hints of the supernatural. But when she is offered a job no bandit could refuse, she jumps at the chance for one final adventure with her old crew that will make her a legend and secure her family's future forever. Yet the deeper Amina dives, the higher the stakes, for there is always risk in wanting to become a legend, to seize one last chance at glory, to savor just a bit more power, and the price might be your very soul. Yeah, I had tried to start this a while back, but I wasn't in the mood. Like, anytime I start like a fantasy or like something that's like not in like the realistic setting of the world that I am in, it just takes a bit of there's like a grace period where I need to like get used to like the story and like be immersed into it to actually read it and enjoy it. And like I don't think I was in the mood then, so I like read like 1 or 2 pages and then I decided this needs to wait. I need to wait for the right time. So hopefully, since I am in like a fantasy-esque mood right now, hopefully I shall pick this up and finally read it, because I have heard really good things about it. Another thing that kind of annoyed me was like the font is quite small for me. I mean, like than the usual. Like this is 600 pages, but like it's still much bigger font than this, which is also quite thick, but also the writing is small. Like this is easily 400-500 pages. Yeah, almost 500 pages, and it's this. So it's pretty much almost the same size as this in terms of the actual length of the book, I guess. But yeah, excited to hopefully read this in July. Adventures of Amina al-Sirafi. Okay, 5th book in the list. Let's do another light blue, I guess. Somewhere in the Deep. This is one of the ones I had changed, so you can see that. But anyways, okay, so Somewhere in the Deep by Tanvi Barwa. This is book 2, kind of. Like, it's not the sequel of Monsters Born and Made, but it's set in the same world with like different characters and stuff, so it's kind of like a spin-off. I really enjoyed Monsters Born and Made, which was the author's debut, and I read it like end of 2022, I think, and I've had this for a while now. The author sent it to me, which was crazy. Yeah, anyways, I'm excited to read it. I've been kind of pushing it off just because I did enjoy Monsters Born and Made a lot, but I was like in the right mood for it too, so I need to be in the right mood for this because I feel like I will enjoy it. Yeah, but as I said, I'm in kind of a fantasy mood, so hopefully now's the right time to pick this up. Anyways, Let me read you guys the synopsis. Something lives in the darkness, something with teeth. 17-year-old Crescent Dune is buried under the weight of her dead parents' death and the ruinous legacy they left behind. The only way she can earn enough money to escape her unforgiving island is by battling monstrous creatures in an underground fighting pit. After a fight goes terribly wrong, she's banned from the pits. Now hopeless, she's offered a deal. In exchange for the erasure of her debts, she must join and protect a hunting party for a rescue mission deep within the mining caves beneath the island. Crescent is determined to keep her head down and fulfill her role as a dutiful bodyguard, even though she's trapped underground with her childhood enemy and a company of people who would gladly kill her if they knew who her parents were. As the group comes across creatures she believed only existed in legends, it becomes clear they are in far more danger than she could have imagined. But someone doesn't want her to make it out alive, and she'll have to figure out who before she's left alone in the dark. Interesting, interesting. I had not read this. I had not read the synopsis before, but reading it is kind of putting me in the mood to start it. So maybe I will. After I finish my current read, I probably will end up starting it. So let's see. It looks like it's gonna rain. Okay. Anyways, next I'm gonna try and pick a pink one. Okay. Okay. This might be sad. It's Frederick Backman's My Grandmother Sends Her Regards, and the rest of the title. I didn't write the whole thing, but let me go grab that. Okay. Frederick Backman's My Grandmother Sends Her Regards and Apologies. I have read Anxious People by this author, and it is one of my favorite books. And I have not read anything else because they are all... Everything people have said about it has been sad, and that like it makes you cry and howl, and I need to be in the right mood for that. Yeah, so I haven't read those, but I do want to read Bear Town sometime this year, and also all the other books. But yeah, this one was like, I found this at a used bookstore and I was like, might as well get it because I'm gonna read it at some point, so maybe July. Anyways, to most people, 7-year-old Elsa's granny is eccentric, if not crazy. To Elsa, she's a superhero, one with a superpower like no other: storytelling. When Granny leaves Elsa a mysterious series of letters apologizing to those she has wronged, her stories come to life in ways Elsa could never have imagined, sending her on a breathtaking adventure of her own. Interesting. Oh, whoever had this book before has annotated it a little. That'll be fun to come across. But yeah, there's like annotations and stuff with pencil. Fun. Okay. Excited to read this. I'm assuming there will be some tearjerkers, some sad moments. Let's see if this will finally be the book that makes me cry. So you will understand that if you have seen my previous video, which was the mid-year freakout tag, where I talk about the fact that I have not cried over a single book ever. Anyways, Yellow. This is book number 7. Book number 7 is Chef's Choice. This was in my TBR for June, and I did not get to it, but maybe July. Okay. Chef's Choice by TJ Alexander. I think this is like a second or third book in the series. Okay, second I think, because the first one's called Chef's Kiss and then this is Chef's Choice. I don't think they are related from what I've heard. Like the characters are different, so you don't need to read the first one. And the publisher sent this to me, Simon & Schuster. So I'm excited to read it. Okay. When Luna O'Shea is unceremoniously fired from a frustrating office job, she tries to count her blessings. She's a proud trans woman who has plenty of friends, a wonderful roommate, and a good life in New York City. But blessings don't pay the bills. Enter Jean Pierre, a less, I don't know French, but there's, you know what? Read it here. Anyways, enter Jean Pierre, a trans man and the heir to a huge culinary empire, which he'll only inherit if he can jump through the hoops his celebrity chef grandfather has placed in his path. First hoop, he needs a girlfriend. Second hoop, they both need to learn to cook the family's world renowned, elaborate recipes. Luna's happy to play the role of devoted girlfriend and chef for a price. Never mind the fact she's never even cracked an egg, or the pesky feelings she's starting to have for Jean Pierre. Another swoon-worthy and heartwarming queer love story from a charming new voice in romance. So, trans women and trans man, love story, cooking, fake dating. Yeah. Okay. So, Chef's Choice, TJ Alexander, book 7 of my TBR jar for July. Okay. Next, book 8 is oh my god, it's gonna be a fantasy filled month. Divine Rivals. Wow. Okay. This I feel like I'm like ready for. I feel like the amount I've heard of it is like I feel like I could binge it in like 2 days, the whole series, both books. Oh, another thing about this jar, I have a lot of books where I have like the whole set of series, but I only put the first books in it, obviously, because I can't pick a book that'll be like the second one, because then I'll have to read the whole thing. So it only has the first books. So it doesn't have Ruthless Vows in it. So now that I've picked Divine Rivals, I can read it and then read the sequel. So technically this is 2 books. Because I can't, like usually I can't stop in the middle of series. If I read it, I'm gonna read the whole thing without taking breaks. So yeah. Anyways, let me bring Divine Rivals. Okay, so Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross. I like this cover a lot. I got this at the Delhi World Book Fair, which if you guys saw the video, then you know. And I got Ruthless Vows at Your West, so if you saw that video, then you know. But anyways, excited to read it. When 2 rival journalists find love through a magical connection, their fate depends on their facing the depths of hell together. After centuries of sleep, the gods are warring again. Expelled into the middle of a mystical war, magical typewriters in tow, can Iris Minnow and Roman Kidd's unlikely bond withstand the fight for the fate of mankind and, most importantly, love? So, interesting stuff. There's typewriters. Yeah. Sounds fun. No god, no war, no one can come between them. Interesting. But yeah, book 8 for TBR jar decides my reads for July is Divine Rivals. Okay. Book 9. Okay. I should have done like different colors for different genres. So like when I pick a different color, then I know kind of what genre I'm picking, just because then it would have been easier to not pick so many fantasy books up. Okay. Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber. This book I got also at Y'all West. So if you saw my Y'all West video, then you know. But yeah, everyone has talked about it so much, and like there was like so much craze over the last book coming out, I think, that it's finally time to read it now that all the books are out. And you know, yeah, I don't have the second or third book in this series, which is terrifying to me that I don't have them all already ready. So like if I do pick this up, I probably will end up going to the bookstore the next day to get the next few books, which will defeat the purpose of this. Because then, I mean, unless I read those like right after, because then it'll be like, it'll cancel it out. But like if I don't, then it's like I read one from the jar and like decreased my TBR, and then I bought two more and then didn't end up reading it. So like I gain a book basically. Hopefully that will not happen with series. I tend to just go through them all one after the other. So we shall see. But yeah, how far would you go for happily ever after? Evangeline Fox has always believed in true love and happy endings until she learns that the love of her life will marry another. Desperate to stop the wedding, Angeline strikes a deal with the charismatic immortal Prince of Hearts. But she soon discovers that bargaining with the Prince of Hearts is a dangerous game. He has plans for Evangeline, plans that will either end in the greatest happily ever after or the most exquisite tragedy. Interesting. Oh, the writing is nice and big. Okay, might start this, honestly. I can see that happening. Ooh, fun map. Hold on. Like, do you see the crazy? Anyways, exciting stuff. But yeah, this is book 9 in the list. I have picked literally so many fantasy series from the jar that I most definitely will not be reading all of them this month. But hopefully, I shall read maybe one or two at least. But yeah, let's hope. I think the issue is also that like most of the books that are in my TBR are fantasy books because I need to be in like a certain mood for them, and I'm not there. So, I mean, I am there right now, but I don't get into them very often. So, Atlas 6. This, I don't know why I wrote this down, just because, so basically, I read the first book in the series when it was still an indie published book. So, I have read the first book and I have like the other two, but when it was re-released by Tor, it was released with some changes in the book, like in the plot, I think, is what I remember hearing people say, that there is like some structural changes in that book. So I need to reread the Atlas 6 so I can finally read the rest of the books in the series and finish it. But I don't want to reread it properly again just because I have read it and I do remember most of the key things that happened in it. So I did put a audiobook hold for it that hopefully will come in July, so then I can actually fulfill this chit and read it. But if the audiobook doesn't come, then I probably won't read it this month. And I have picked way too many fantasy series to start another one right now. But if I do get the audiobook, then I will definitely end up reading the Atlas 6 and the rest of the series. So yeah, Atlas 6 by Olivia Blake. This is, I think, also the only books left of hers that I haven't read. Because I've read her books that are under Alexine Farrell-Furmuth, and I've read, Masters of Death, Alone with You in the Ether, One for My Enemy. Basically, most if not all of the other books that she's released, I've read. The only ones that I haven't read is book 2 and 3, and I guess the new version of this, of the series. So I do remember most of it. I remember I really enjoyed it. So I'm sure I will enjoy it again this time around. But yeah. 6 Extraordinary Magicians, 5 Chances to Win 1 Secret Society. Okay. Once a decade, the world's best magicians are invited to join the elite Alexandrian Society. Its members enjoy a lifetime of power and access to ancient secrets. But only 5 places are offered. So after recruitment by the mysterious Atlas Blakely, the candidates must complete a rigorous year of arcane study. Libby Rhodes and Nico de Verona are inseparable enemies and cosmologists who can control matter with their minds. Parissa Kamali is a telepath. Reina Mori understands the flow of life itself, and Callum Nova can manipulate desires. Finally, there's Tristan Kane, whose powers mystify even himself. The rivals must survive their trials, and if they can prove themselves, they will. Most of them. So, 6 people, only 5 can make it through after 1 year. Yeah, very there's rivalry, there's relationship dynamics that you would not expect and that you'll be shocked by, but also pleasantly surprised by, and things like that. And yeah, I really enjoyed it when I read it in 2021. So I'm excited to get back into this series and finally finish it. Yeah, hopefully I'll get the audiobook in my Libby soon, and then I can read this. So this is book 10 of my TBR for July. Next on the list is let's see. Okay. Finally, a book that is not mystery. Tastes Like Shakkar. This is book 2 in I think If Shakespeare Was an Auntie. Is that the series name? I don't remember. But second book in the series by Nisha Sharma, Tastes Like Shakkar. The first book was Dating Dr. Dil, which I enjoyed sort of. And yeah, excited to read it. Romance. I haven't read many romances this year. Just haven't been much in the mood. The ones I have actually really enjoyed have been YA. So yeah, but excited to get back into this series and read it. Yeah. Oh, okay. This is this is a retelling, reimagination of Much Ado About Nothing, the Shakespeare comedy. Anyways, Bobby Kaur is determined to plan a celebration to remember for her best friend's wedding, but she has 2 problems that are getting in her way. 1, the egotistical and irritatingly sexy chef Benjamin Bunty Padda is supposed to help her with the menu since he's the groom's best friend. And 2, someone is trying to sabotage the wedding. With aspirations taking over her family's event planning business, Bobby knows that one misstep is in managing the Karina Mann and Prem Verma. Why is this so wordy? Okay. With aspirations of taking over her family's event planning business, Bobby knows that one misstep in managing the Karina Mann and Prem Verma #Verman party, along with the other weddings on her plate, will only give her uncle another reason not to promote her. That means Karina's big day and Bobby's future career are on the line. Bunty will do anything for his best friend, even though he has his hands full in finding a new location for his new restaurant while also playing mediator between his brother and father, the celebrated Naan King. When Prem asks Bunty to help with the wedding menu, he agrees, especially since it puts him in close proximity to the delicious Bobby Kaur. When a mystery Shadi saboteur starts leaving threatening notes and cancelling cake orders, Bunty and Bobby have no choice but to call a truce and face the volatile attraction they have for each other. Through masquerade fundraisers and a joint bachelorette trip to Vegas, this chef and wedding planner explore their growing connection, all while trying to plan a wedding at Messina Vineyards in a time crunch. But once the Shadi saboteur is caught and the wedding is over, will their love story have a happily ever after? With the return of the meddling aunties, who are scary good at finding information, and a lot of hilarity and hijinks, Bobby and Bunty's romance is an event you don't want to miss. Every time I read Bobby and Bunty, I just keep thinking of Bobby. No, what am I saying? Bunty and Bubbly. I don't know why. It's not even the same names, but like the whole B and B. Yeah. Anyways, sounds fun. Wedding, Indian weddings, chef and wedding planner. Yeah. There's meddling aunties, texts. Yeah. Hopefully we won't have another, like he was fine, the guy in Doctor dating Dr. Dill or whatever, but like the way. Anyways, it'll be fine. It'll be good. Excited to read this. I had gotten this also from the publisher, I'd gotten this from HarperCollins. So yeah, I've had this for a while, but I'm excited to finally get to it. My sisters read it and she enjoyed it, so we shall see. Okay, that was book 11. Yes, so that was book 11 in my list. Last book that I'm gonna pick for this TBR for July is Riders and Lovers, not another fantasy, thank God. Riders and Lovers by Lily King. I don't know anything about this book except its title and the fact that people were talking about this a lot. Like a lot of my friends were posting about this like around 2021, I think. And I was influenced, I was convinced, and I picked it up. And I haven't read it since. So, might be finally time to pick it up. Anyways, recently out of a devastating love affair and mourning the death of her beloved mum, Casey is lost. The novel she has been writing for 6 years isn't going anywhere. Her debt is soaring, and at 31, with all her friends getting married and having kids, she feels too old for things to be this way. Then she meets Silas. He is kind, handsome, interested. But only a few weeks later, Oscar, older, fascinating, troubled, walks into her life, his 2 boys in tow. Suddenly, Casey finds herself at the point of a love triangle, torn between 2 very different relationships that promise 2 very different futures. And she still got to write that book. Interesting. I wonder if this is gonna do like a segue into like 2 different futures with like the 2 guys and like I don't know what it's gonna be about, but seems interesting. I'm not that big on love triangles when it's not fantasy, but we shall see. Maybe I will enjoy it. I have heard good things about it, so should be fun, should be interesting. I'm assuming this is the younger guy and this is the guy with the 2 kids, but she's looking at him, so maybe that is like a hint or a clue. But yeah, we shall see. So final book in the 12 books decided by my TBR jar. Okay. So the 12 books decided by my TBR jar. I'm gonna keep these out just in case like I do end up, whichever ones I end up reading, I can just cross them out and add some of the other books that are not on this list that didn't make it to the TBR jar. And yeah, so let's quickly just go through these books. Wow, I did not do this well. Okay. So finally, here, okay. This is thicker than I thought it would be, but here are the 12 books that I picked from my TBR jar. Wow, this is a workout. Okay. Anyways, here are the 12 books that I picked from my TBR jar. So hopefully I will get to most of these in July. And yeah. Hello, I just finished editing the video and I realized I forgot to mention two books that I'm also planning on reading in July. The first one is Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. This is the book that we decided upon for my book club on Fable. You can join with the link below. It's free, it's fun, yeah. And it also has the option of getting the ebook on the app, so you can, annotate the book, react to, parts of the book, and like we can talk about it and like share quotes and things like that. So super fun. And this will also be my first Abby Jimenez book, which I'm really excited about because I've heard really good things, specifically by people whose recommendations I trust with romance books. So yeah, excited to read this one and hopefully more of her books soon. But yeah, Just for the Summer, hoping for some perfect, summer vibes, summer romance. And yeah, so that's the first book. And then for second is the buzzwordathon book, which the prompt is measurement. So anything with like time and like, yeah, basically measurements. So Just for the Summer kind of fits the vibe since it's like a time limit. But there's also other books in the TBR from the TBR jar, like Somewhere in the Deep, which also fits the title, fits the prompt. So I might just read those and like count those as my buzzwordathon books. But I'm also been really wanting to read As Long as the Lemon Trees Grow. So, and this was in my TBR for June, but I didn't get around to it. So I'm hoping if I can manage to read this, then this will be the book that I read for buzzwordathon, since this also fits the prompt. So yeah, that was all for this video. Thank you for coming along with me on this journey of me picking up books to read for July. I will keep you guys updated with how the reading goes, with how many books I end up reading from this list in my July wrap up. So yeah, thank you for watching. I shall see you guys in the next video. Hello everybody. Yeah, so I found all the books. Like I'm going through all the chits right now and finding all the ones that I've already read since I made the jar, and then I'm gonna change the title to be books that I got like since that I acquired since I made the jar. So all the books that I received or bought since I made this jar. So I have the chits of books that I still haven't read since I made it, and then these ones I'm going to change quickly right now to be books that I've got in the last half of the year. So yeah, and then I'm gonna pick out 12 books hopefully that I will try and read in the month of July. So yeah, mostly there's like, so far at least that I've gone through the list, most of the books are still the ones that, there are more books that I haven't read from the jar than the ones that I have read, obviously. But I am surprised and happy to see that there are actually quite a lot of them that I did end up reading. So yeah, there's so far more than 10 from what I can see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 books that I have read from this list so far. So things are looking up. But yeah, I'm gonna try and pick my TBR for July from this list. So let's see. That looks so good. I haven't had. That looks so good. and I haven't had good kimchi jjigae in this entire month. I'm just realizing I haven't had kimchi jjigae this month. That is crazy. I need to fix that soon. Okay, anyways, the jar is empty, and okay, filling it up with the ones that I haven't read. Okay, so far, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Wow, okay, so 20 chits. Okay, 20 that I have read. So now I'm gonna quickly change the names while looking at my current TBR. So yeah, quickly gonna change them all